All right, so we are back, and obviously, we've been talking about doing this interview for a while,
Right.
and then your record was due to come out, and so we kind of postponed until the record would come out. And guys, the record is right here. It's called "Water Bears No Scars." I hope you guys will pick up a copy, stream it everywhere. Pick up a copy and stream it. It's
And be on the lookout. I'm
yeah,
doing.
this is
A friend called me
this is a new
yesterday.
old one.
A friend called me yesterday, blew my mind. I did this record in 2006, and I gave him a copy, and a year later he listened to it and he goes, "That's an amazing record."
Mhm.
And I said, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah, it's amazing." And it's an electric guitar record.
Yeah.
And I go, "Oh, wow." And he goes, "You should re-release that." So as of yesterday, I decided that I would re-release this. So I'm going to put it on my website, and it's going to be available. Not to plug it, but to say, isn't it weird how somebody could call you up out of
And
the blue
inspire you, yeah.
and go,
Yeah.
"That was great."
You never know who's listening, Craig.
Well, I hope not,
Mm-hmm.
because
Well, this is going to be exciting now because Craig has given us 2 copies that we're going to give away. So, as part of this episode, I don't know how we're going to do it yet, but you guys are going to need to follow along with his social media. You're going to have to check out his website. We're going to have we'll figure out some way to make sure both of these get sent out to valuable homes or good forever homes. But tell us about the inspiration behind the record.
well, it's real simple. I was playing all the time, like 8 hours a day. And Stephen Pridmore called me up and said, "You need to be heard." And I said, "Okay." And he said, "I'm going to show up with a portable recorder." So we spent 2 days in the Red Barn.
Mm-hmm.
Then Dave Parks, who was out with Eric for a minimal 10 years, is an engineer, mixing engineer, did all the demos for the first 3 records.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, they couldn't even produce some of them, and they give him credit on like Iva Miakan, because especially high randoms, they never were able to duplicate that stereo effect on some of the solos. And I remember when he was doing that, they did it on Riverside Studios. They were doing a demo for Warner Brothers after the first record. And I remember Thanksgiving Day, I get a call, and it's Day. I go, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm in the studio. I've been in the studio for 8 hours now."
You're supposed to be
And
there.
and I go, "Really?" He goes, "Yeah, I've been in the studio for 8 hours." And I said, "Well, what are you doing in the studio?" "Well, Eric is trying to punch this one note in for a solo." And I go, "And it's been taking 8 hours." He goes, "Well, he hadn't liked it yet."
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is he was with him back in the days when, Eric would take the time, but Eric's very meticulous about what he does.
I have a fan question for you here in a minute.
Okay.
That's about Eric Johnson. But so this is a little bit different. There's not much blues in this record.
No.
I'd love to hear the evolution from what you're known for, what you've always kind of.
I just dropped. During COVID, I think it was during COVID, I figured 50 years of playing guitar was enough. And so I dropped it. Of course, some of those decisions may have been because of the cancer that I was dealing with.
Right.
But when I did pick it up a year and a half later, I didn't think I was ever going to pick it up. But then when I picked it up, I had yet to play any blues or Hendrix or anything. I just started playing. And started playing electric guitar too. And matter of fact, instead of playing Stratocaster, I'd move over to Tellys. I'm bent Telly guy now.
Mm-hmm.
But I always wanted to do in the 90s, I always wanted to do a record called Acoustophonics, which would have been just acoustic music like this. But I never did get to do it. So I did it. And then Dave Parks and me spent 2 years mixing it. And then even the song selection took a long time to get just right. And the one thing I like about it is that there's a certain amount of humor in everything. You know, I was just telling Dave today that a lot of people only make money on the merchandise. So I said, I'm going to have T-shirts made, and it's going to have the album on the front, right? But on the back, it's going to say, over 3 CDs sold.
Over, so it'd be like 4.
Over 3, maybe 4.
Maybe 5.
But
where's the shirt? Come on, we gotta get this shirt.
I gotta get it going because it would, you know.
Maybe sell more shirts than records, maybe.
I don't know. From what I hear about these young people having to make it, they're not making it off of.
Yeah, it's completely backwards now. Yeah, for sure.
Now they have to tour to sell merchandise, and that's how they're existing.
Well, I highly recommend the album. I wanted to tell you, I think this would be a compliment to you. My wife has been writing a fantasy novel for a lot of years, since I've known her. And we've been together since 2015. So almost 10 years that she's been writing this novel. And her inspiration and her vibe is very musical. So when she's in her creative place, then she knows when she wants to write. She needs music to get her into a certain place. And so I always know when she's writing now because I hear your music coming from my room.
Oh, really?
So she's been using your
That's
record
great.
to vibe to get into her. She calls it playing with my imaginary friends.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, tell her my heart is smiling.
I will sure do that.
That's the kind of stuff that we don't tell people we want to hear, but we need to hear.
Yeah, and that's why there's no stable definition of success.
Well,
you know, there's no
I'll tell you,
singular. That's the word I'm looking for.
Remember I said on your post, the thing that got me through when I was doing originals and playing lots of tours was thrive on rejection until success is a reality. Because I got to the point where I was no longer going to beat my head against the business. I was just going to stand there, and when the door opened, I'd walk through calmly, right? But I know a lot of people that are quote unquote big, and all I've noticed is it's like a runaway mine train, man. And they're doing very well just to hang on.
Yeah,
they don't have any control. It's just going. And all these people that say, well, like Edie asking me, are those songs recorded? I said, well, one of them's fixed to come out on the record, The River. And I said, and then the other one, I haven't recorded. She goes, why not? And I'm like, because I just wrote it 2 months ago. And she's like, okay, you know, but at least she was nice enough to ask me about the tunes. You know, she didn't have
that alone could be encouraging enough, you know, just somebody asking.
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
let me ask you this fan question. This comes from Tracy Killebrew. And
I know Tracy.
Yeah, they want to know when
his nickname is Crazy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
No, this is not a crazy question, I don't.
Okay.
He wants to know when you were opening for Eric Johnson in Dallas. Were you the one that chose the venue for sound?
Chose the venue for sound? Yeah. And lights.
Yeah.
Sound and lights.
Okay. I don't know
one of the things that was really important what I did. When I started doing original music, I went to all the venues and thought about where I wanted to be seen, doing shows. Right? Not clubs, not 3 hours a night, but an hour, maybe an hour 15, an hour 20 minutes, right?
Yeah.
And I've told every guy, don't just take any gigs. Do the gigs that you want to be seen at, that you think the audience would be receptive, but also, where do you want to be seen?
Be selective.
And everybody's going, well, I'm getting 5 a night, you know, playing down here. It's like the Greenville Arm Bar and Grill. They could never have me play there because they offered me stupid money for a Monday night, right? But guess what? They didn't have a cover charge. And everybody that doesn't pay a trouble charge of at least $1 they just walk right back out.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any commitment to you.
Right. That's a good point.
And how are you going to sell tickets to a show if they're not going to show any kind of commitment?
That's a good point.
But I mean, it's really, I don't know about this world and how it would be. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I've told some people that I'm open to traveling, you know. I'm open to all sorts of things. Preferably back in Japan would be really good.
Mm-hmm. So you have the new website, and which I know you're very proud of. It's CraigWallaceMusic.com. I want you guys to make sure you check that out and spend some time there. There's a lot of archival stuff you've added in there that kind of chronicles your career, and a lot of live video as well, which, man, I've been on there a lot.
Really?
As you can probably tell just by the interview. I hope you can tell that.
Yeah, I can tell. A lot of hairstyles, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. This begs the question, first of all, how do you stay passionate after over 50 years doing this? And what's coming up for you? What are you looking forward to doing next?
Well, when I started playing when Bugs died, I tried to stress to everybody, I'm not trying to become anything. But what is my purpose? How do I stay passionate? Is I love playing. When I did start playing again, I felt like a 17-year-old again.
It fills the hole, right?
Oh, but I'm talking about like, I'm driving my wife crazy with the amount of time that I'm spending.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm passionate already, I don't have to. It used to be discipline, but now I combine discipline and passion. I practice about 2 hours of nothing but finger exercises every day in the morning, so that when creativeness does strike, I'll be ready.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how I start my day. And sometimes you got to put in the work. You can't just, you know what? I think I didn't have your email, but man, I read something for the first time about 3 months ago where Dwayne Allman said, man, here's what you got to do. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you practice. Then you have some breakfast and you practice. Then you practice some more. And then you have lunch and you get back to practicing. And you practice it. The difference is, if you want this to be a hobby, you got to put in the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is a guy who's in his 20s talking about passion of just practicing. But he makes a point. I think Tchaikovsky wrote every day of his life, and only a fraction of them came into bloom. But he found that if he didn't do that every day, the discipline, but now it's not even discipline. Now it's like, and especially relearning electric guitar, because I haven't had an electric guitar in a while, and now I do, and it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It's so cool to see, you being so passionate about what you do still.
But you were asking purpose.
Yeah.
My purpose is simple. If the creator, I made a deal with the creator that if I'm asked to play, then I will play.
And like you said earlier, you are being played.
Oh, that's why I'm going to play.
Mm-hmm.
I get to be played. And, I did start up thinking, when I hung out with Taj Mahal told me that half of a good acoustic show is a rapport with the audience. Mm-hmm. Now, back in the other days, when I played the Forbes, I just played. I went to the second song. I went to the third song. I didn't talk to the audience ever. Mm-hmm. And I thought this time I'll try to talk to the audience. Well, I tried. It didn't work out. You know what I mean?
Well, you're doing good today.
Well, that's because you're such a great host.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. Guys, we're here with Craig Wallace. Just unbelievable stuff. This is why we do what we do. We hear phenomenal stories to live your life through your eyes and hear your existence. And I can't thank you enough for coming on today. And Just a phenomenal guy. Man.
Thank you so
I
much
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And dig yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.